Well, you get some people who won't like it.
Buy 70s bug, take the engine and gearbox out and throw the rest away. That's all they're good for.
You're going to go something, yeah?
Yeah.
Time scale is really, really tight.
No chance in a million years of getting this ready for Spa.
Steve and Rich have paid 150 quid for this wrecked 1971 bug and aim to transform it into a custom classic.
Something that's different. Something that hasn't been done before.
But Rich doesn't quite share Steve's optimism for the project.
You know, if I went out onto the street and tried to sell that, I'd get laughed at.
They plan to save thousands doing as much of the work as possible.
£150 for a car means it's knackered to start with.
But they may need a lot more than their £5 budget. A bit more luck.
It's crap.
And a new shell and chassis wouldn't go amiss.
It's a bit battered around there.
Oh my God.
They want to finish the project in time for Le Bug Show at Spa in Belgium, which is now only 4 months away. But if anyone can do it, these boys can. It's only after these vehicles are stripped that the full extent of the restoration work can be appreciated. This car was an unfinished project and, as the lads are finding out, buying one can be a nightmare. They've uncovered evidence of a front-end smash.
Now, something like that we should have really seen, because it's not something that's just been covered up with a bit of underseal. It's, you know, there is a good sort of half-inch to an inch difference in the height there.
The boys have already spent a month on repair work, and they've no time to hunt for another chassis, or the money to pay for it.
I had a friend who paid 1,500 quid for one that was in much worse condition than this. Actually, the MOT standard in this country is not that good.
It seemed reasonably solid, but unfortunately a lot of the repairs that have been done so badly and then covered up to make them look good.
The popularity of the bug means most new replacement panels are easy to source and reasonably cheap. As well as the front quarter, the lads have found a replacement frame head to repair the accident damage.
Cheers. That was a bit of a stroke of luck that we found that piece, because the 1302 that we're working on is, you know, a 4 or 5 year only model.
Steve wastes no time repairing the rotted out front quarter. He's focusing on the body shell, so the chassis repair will be put on hold, and his next job is to swap the steering column over from left to right.
It's all just self-taught, really. From when I was a student, it was a case of do your own stuff because of the cost, and it's all steamrolled from there. This has been buckled from the inside. What we're going to do is just cut a square out of there with that hole in it, transfer it over.
Rich, meanwhile, has been distracted by the relatively minor issue of his nuptials. Still, it's as good a venue for a V-dub meet as anywhere else. VW restorations are usually a team effort, and having a good network of reliable mates will be vital to the project's success.
It's a community as well as the cars, and because there's so many different variants of cars, people will tend to have 4 or 5 different ones, whereas someone who's maybe into Morris Minors will only have a Morris Minor.
The lads have made a good contact in professional restorer Lee Southerton, who's offered to help the boys out with some of the trickier interior fabrication. However, Lee's not convinced that a 70s 1302 model was the best choice.
You have to be crazy to do an 02, wouldn't you?
Why is that?
Because nobody does them, they're just not cool, are they, really?
Yeah, but that's the whole point. We want to try and do something different, you know.
Lee has customised hundreds of Beetles and knows how crucial these small touches can be to the overall success of a project.
I'm not really sure what Steve wants. Not sure Steve knows what he wants. And I know that Rich definitely don't know what he wants.
One of the jobs Lee will be doing is fitting a modern steering column, so Steve needs to complete the right-hand drive conversion before Lee picks the body up in a few days' time.
This moulding, which is on here, which I've got on a dash, I've got to put in there, and that clamps the steering column at the top.
Steve's been messing around with VWs for most of his adult life, but this is by far his biggest challenge. He's never done a steering conversion before, and it's crucial that the column is in line and the job is structurally sound. If not, the results could be disastrous. It's ironic that this cute, curvy symbol of peace and love was originally conceived by Adolf Hitler. He commissioned Ferdinand Porsche to design and build it in 1934. But the Beetle's worldwide success could be attributed to British Army Major Ivan Hurst, who resurrected production in the German factory after the war. Its distinctive look hasn't changed much in over 70 years of production.
In you go.
Lifelong Beetle fanatic Brian Burrows runs VW Action.
Chav! Where's the chavs?
Brian knows all about the slight variations in production styles that mean practically nothing to non-believers,
What's this about?
but absolutely everything to Beetle people.
The first Volkswagens had a split rear window, or they called it a pretzel window. And then after this came an oval window, which is just a complete oval on it.
Officially known as the Type 1, over 1 million were sold by 1954. It became known as the Turtle in Bolivia, Hunchback in Poland, and reputedly the Little Box by Henry Ford.
About £7 to get you there.
For most VW owners, customising is a subtle art, with the odd exceptions. Lowered suspension and wheel changes can be seen on most show cars, especially those in the Cal look style, which originated from the American drag racing scene.
Yeah, well, this is a real nice example of a 63.
By the 60s, there was an American-led safety initiative and windows and lights became bigger.
Now, that badge is very important because that means this car has got a Judson aftermarket supercharger, and that is a real cool thing to own, and they are hard to find.
In the 70s, practicality was the key issue, and the original shape was slightly compromised to accommodate new front suspension and a bigger boot.
Well, unfortunately, these cars have been branded Fat Chicks because they're kind of a fatter-looking car.
With a larger, rounded front windscreen and even bigger rear lights known as elephant feet, it was a step too far for the purists.
They're just wrong. The backlights are wrong, the windows are the wrong height. They're just late models. Late model cars suck. Buy a 70s bug, take the engine and gearbox out and throw the rest away. That's all they could.